Alright, folks, our next guest is a comedian all the way from Sydney, Australia. Doesn't that just sound kangaroo? Introducing to the stage, Nemo!
Hey guys, we don't have kangaroos, just annoying yourselves.
Thank you for having me. Oh no, thank you for coming. Alright, well, Nickel, can I call you that?
Oh yeah, of course. Not just some stout matron or something.
No, of course. Okay, right, so Nicholas, you are working on an as-yet unnamed comedy show, is that right?
Yeah, I am. The naming's the easy part. It's the being funny and then apologising for it. That's the hard part.
Oh. Oh man, I bet your lawyer's having a field day.
Yeah, he always does.
I agree.
What?
I can imagine.
What's going on?
Oh, this guy, am I right? Oh.
What's going on?
You don't even know the half of it.
G'day, it's your favourite purple shirt wearing commentary YouTuber. So my friends, I want to ask a question. Let's just say you've gotten home from work, right? Actually no, I know my demographic better than that. Let's just say you got back from junior school, and you get home. What is the first thing you do? Do you maybe chat to your parents? Of course not. Can't be parents, that's a plural. Maybe you put on a DVD. Of course not, that's old technology. We have Foxtel now. No, my friends, it's most likely you just go on your phone or computer and look at social media.
I just solved racism by posting something on my Instagram story. Now I only want to slightly kill myself.
In my case, I turn to YouTube. YouTube is probably my main form of entertainment at this age. That's just blatant truth. But why is that? Because YouTube, in the grand scheme of things, is a roughly new mean of entertainment. Now, there may be variations on what you do when you get home. No, I'm sure that not everyone goes straight to social media. That would be a generalization of my generation that would be insane to make. I'm sure that there are mild inconsistencies to that generalization. But I can confirm there are two things that you're not doing.
And that's watching bloody talk shows.
Now, I can imagine there are two reasons for that. One, the average late night show is a bit later than the time you arrive back from school. And two, it's just a form of media that is dying. Or if not, it's already dead. One of my favourite videos recently is The Philosophy of Bo Burnham. I like that video for two reasons. One, I love philosophy, and two, I like Bo Burnham. I don't know which one makes me more gay, but the reason that piqued my interest was its way that it discussed the way our entertainment has grown, developed, changed, died, and been reborn over the years. But that doesn't automatically mean the talk shows are dead. I mean, sure, many people might have a distaste for Jimmy Fallon, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those industries are deceased. Well, let's have a look at Google Trends, why don't we, my friends? Or the rhyming just never ends. Oh shit, I think there might be a scratch on my camera lens. So what I did was really simple. I just looked up what are the top talk shows at the moment. And the Graham Norton show came in with a pretty solid rating. Not amazing, but definitely a likable thing. So I went onto Google Trends and I placed the Graham Norton show next to PewDiePie. And wow, it's not even close. I thought maybe it was a fluke, so I put PewDiePie next to The Tonight Show. It is still not close, but I thought maybe PewDiePie was a bad example, you know, he's only on YouTube and he's had time to grow. Maybe the mainstream media just can't keep up with that. So, I decided that I'd look for someone else. Let's say, is there somebody who is used by the mainstream media, but grew really rapidly over the last year or so? Who would that be? That's sad. Got a text from my dad. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to flex on the American kids watching. I thought this was strange, to be completely honest. Like, how? How is this possible? I would have thought that the mainstream would have more of a grip on the entertainment industry. So, I kept looking on Google, and I just looked at The Tonight Show. You know, Jimmy Fallon's claim to fame. I looked at the reviews and it was kind of rough. It was an either love or hate relationship. There were some people praising it like they had just gone to heaven. But then there are some people acting as if he shouldn't exist. But I wanted to give the entertainment and mainstream media one more chance. So I looked at an article by Deadline, which discussed the amount of views that talk shows had received in the last year of 2020. And the funny thing is, they barely creep over a successful YouTube video. It said Stephen Colbert was in the lead, but if I said that name to you, I could only imagine that you recognized the name. Couldn't think of a face to go with it. It's not a name that I'm really familiar with. That's just a fact. You'd think that's strange for the lead. But I want to just mess around with a bit of a thought experiment.
So what is this thought experiment of mine? Well, don't laugh at me. I'm gonna say it. Promise not to laugh at me. Could it be possible that the death of talk shows is linked to the death of Among Us?
And they are among us.
I swear I'm being serious. Hold on. Now, hear me out, okay? You see, through history itself, over the last couple of centuries, movements have been started by the way we communicate. Okay, you know what? Just go down. Let's think about it. Think about it. The Protestant Reformation was forged in the fires of the printing press. The ability to just print down words repetitively over and over allowed more people to access information at an unprecedented level. But, my friends, you see, the thing that is in front of you right now as you stare into the screen and stare into my beautiful, gorgeous, pain-filled blue eyes, it's a digital printing press. The internet itself is a device that at its very core is just high-speed communication. That is basically what it is. You want information? Here it is. But there's a side effect. It also ramps up everything that comes with communication. The recycling of information and jokes has been ramped up by a million. Try to go on Twitter and see a joke that is original. I swear you won't be able to. Or it's original and it's just not funny. Try to see anyone not talking about politics. Try to see anyone not giving their opinion.
Shut the
That is also a side effect of high-speed communication. Before communication was available to everyone, only the few who were smart and educated could get their voices out because they were the only ones people were willing to listen to. Maybe they were wrong, but still they were deemed educated by society. If you don't have doctor at the beginning of your name, you're a nobody. But now anyone can voice any opinion. Whether that's good or bad, that's up to you. But it does lead on to one thing. High production qualities go out of date very quickly. When it comes to high production things where many people have to plan out for a bit of time, before communication was sped up to the point that it is now, higher productions didn't need to worry about going out of trend, going out of popularity, because popularity lasted months. I mean, the mannequin challenge lasts way longer than any trend today's day. Fuck. But today, you'll have seen something a million times on TikTok before any high production can talk about it. I mean, look at Captain Disillusion is one of my favorite YouTubers, and he takes months to work on a video. And by the time it's out, it's completely out of date. So, how do you avoid that? You don't try to be in date. You talk about things that don't date. Well, that's not what late night shows do. Their entire premise is that they talk about current events. But when you've already seen a million people ranting about on Twitter, you don't really care what some middle-aged comedian has to say. That's the issue. You no longer care. Back to it. What does this have to do with Among Us? Well, sorry. Well, Among Us is not the only example. I would also argue Fortnite or PUBG, any of these massive games that had died inexplicably. Why? Boredom, possibly. A exhaustion of possibilities, maybe. But in the end, trends die because people lose interest. The internet is so high-paced that there's no room to just wait and see. And with a game like Among Us that got repetitive quickly, and even memed to oblivion through satire that mocked the literal thing that we loved for so long, there's no room for repetition anymore. Society demands new, fresh, everything, all of the time. So is that it? Talk shows should just stop repeating themselves and they'll be the newest, hottest thing on the market? Not quite.
Now, what I'm about to say really isn't that factual. I know I haven't researched this to the level I really should have, and I know this video is more of a compilation of half-witted evidence that I've just compiled and shoved in your face, but I thought I could get away with it because most people don't seem to mind when BuzzFeed does it, so... But my issue with talk shows, and it's an issue that I think I've noticed, is they don't really have a target audience. As I said, this is debatable, definitely, but I don't feel like they know who they're going for. I mean, it's definitely not Generation Z. We've seen what they've done with the Gen Z hospital. Did I do it? Bruh. No cap. So you did commit homicide in a preschool. And it's definitely not the millennials either, because the millennials are way too concerned about their own student loan debt to be watching a talk show. And I was interested to see if it was the older generations, so I put out a small little survey, gave it to my parents to give to all their friends, and none of them seemed to have watched talk shows, which I thought was interesting. Is the target audience just people? And that's the main flaw. They don't know who they're going for. Because you see, one time they'll be trying to make a joke towards Generation Z, or they'll try to be bringing Charli D'Amelio onto the show, and then the next day they'll be talking so much about politics. I'm honestly sick, and so many other people are sick of this, just the amount of politics put in talk shows. No one wants to watch politics. No one wants to just sit down and watch politics for an hour. Two groups, and they're divided over a really simple issue. It's just whether or not one of the groups should rule the entire world. It's called fucking Transformers. I'm not taking the piss here. Transformers is a movie about politics. Their politics was so bad that their whole planet got destroyed. That is literally the plot of the movie. Maybe ScoMo isn't that bad. Like, almost every joke on talk shows for a long period of time was just, hey, want to see my Donald Trump impression? So, what is the future for talk shows? Are they going to be a long-living, thriving thing, or are they going to die out sooner than we expect? Well.
So, what do we conclude from all of this? Is the talk show medium dead? Are we never going to see anything like that in this near future? Of course the medium will survive, but for how long, we'll see. There have been some great moments in talk show history. So let's see what happens. Just wait and see. If it's not for us, oh well. Maybe it's for one person. I hope that one person's happy. I'm not going to stand here and say that comedy is dead and comedy's over and there's no chance that comedy will ever return. As much as I'd love to. As much as I'd love to call this video The Death of Comedy. And it's all because of Jimmy Fallon. I'm not that much of a clickbaity scum. Let's just see what happens, my friends. And I'll see you.
I didn't get most funny or anything. Like, I got a big...
Anyway, thank you. That was Bo Burnham. Now we shall have some kind words of encouragement for the future from Nicholas Murray.
Ladies, gentlemen, Democrats, we are gathered here today to mourn the loss of our dear friend, Comedy. Comedy lived a long and fruitful life. He was born centuries ago as a simple fart joke, and he grew to be much more. And then he died after a tough battle against talk shows, Amy Schumer, and vegans. Vegans being the biggest joke of them all. Comedy was... When I knew Comedy, he was called many names. You know, poisonous, subjective,
problematic Steve. And now he's gone. I hope you're happy, liberals. If there's... at first I didn't believe that comedy could have been dead, but this sketch proves it. Comedy was like a soccer girl, at school. It was used over and over by guys because they were trying to be impressive, but they ended up just being dickheads. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be the pot calling the kettle the person of colour, but I used comedy, and I only feel it's right for me to send him off the only way I know how. So here is a poem I wrote in honour of comedy. Capes aren't worn by all heroes, just the ones that are known. Sorry. I guess I'll restart. Capes aren't worn by all heroes, just the ones that are known. I guess we can call comedy the Euros because it isn't coming home. Thank you.